The modern world is increasingly reliant on data, but with the enormous amounts generated, companies are faced with the challenge of using it effectively. Bioinformatics company Fios Genomics specialises in providing biological data analysis services, converting data into useful, relevant and actionable information, as well as creating better ways to visualise it. Jonathan Gibson has more.
The data being analysed by these bioinformaticians could provide the answers to some of the biggest biological questions. At its virtual lab in Edinburgh, Fios Genomics is using big data to improve the understanding of disease and help find new ways of defeating it.
The big data explosion came probably only about 15 years ago. So finding the computational tools and the expertise to look for patterns can have amazing impact, and particular interest for us is to think about human health and think about medication. So looking for patterns in the human genome, moving away from the trial and error way that medicines traditionally were created and tested towards something that's a bit more logical.
So, if a drug company is trying to find out how effective a new cancer treatment was during clinical trials, bioinformatics can be used to draw different data sets together. Things like patient data and outcome data and associated data to help find the answer.
If you look for patterns which may be age-related, lifestyle-related, genetically related, you can find what we hope eventually will be the right drug at the right dose for the right person.
The potential to develop personalised medicine is being driven by the big data revolution and the capacity it provides for biological patterns to be identified by scrutinising multiple data sets and cross-referencing them simultaneously.
It's more than just the statistics. What's biologically relevant can sometimes be quite different from what's statistically significant. And I think that's one of the key things that separates Fios from other people in our field. We take a very much a holistic approach to the analysis. So we have bioinformaticians, of course, on staff who analyse the data, but all of their first degrees are in something biology related. And that really helps pull out the important biology within the data. If we look at data and something doesn't make biological sense, then we investigate that further.
A lot of the projects that we have are for pharmaceutical companies. So we deal with clinical data, gene expression data, SNP data, but we've also dealt with genome assemblies and we deal with academics as well.
This is an example of one of the projects that you've been working on?
Yeah, so this is a project that we did in collaboration with Genentech, and this resulted in a publication in Nature. This was a project involving multiple data sets to do with response to immunotherapy in bladder cancer. One of the questions that we're asking in this paper are there subgroups of patients that have differential survival? It's almost impossible to just visualize the raw data or even look at the raw data. So the most important thing is that we summarize that data and we summarize it in a biologically relevant way.
And how did you present those results?
So the reports that we deliver are effectively secure websites where the users can browse through the results that we've generated over multiple pages, and these consist of text, methods and results, as well as interactive figures. We're trying to generate the most appropriate visualizations to summarize the data wherever possible.
And it's this client-focused collaborative approach which is using big data to find solutions to big problems in areas like disease, crop management and conservation.
We spend a lot of time talking to our clients, particularly at the beginning of a study, to find out about the data, how it was generated, if there was any issues in the data generation, and then how they want the results presented. The solution is always within the data. It's just how you navigate your way through that data maze and extract the real nuggets of information that people can use.